Howdy, howdy, howdy. Welcome back to MCubed on Movie News Monday, of course. So, of course, it's the beginning of the week, so we're going to talk about some of the film news that has come out over the weekend, that has come out this morning, that kind of is beginning the week and starting the week off this week. It is July 17th, and it will be the week of the 17th through what? The 21st? Yeah, the 21st, 22nd. And it's going to be a good week, I think. We're going to barely talk about strike stuff, and I think we're going to really revert that onto a Wednesday stream on Cinema Scoop Wednesday, because we usually have the sidetrack guys with us. And I can now officially announce on Wednesday for Cinema Scoop Wednesday, we will have someone who kind of acted and has acted as a mentor for me while I've lived in Los Angeles. He is a playwright. He is also an acting coach. So he's got his finger on the pulse for both SAG. He's got his finger on the pulse for WGA. His wife is a producer. She's done a bunch of work for Disney and all kinds of other people. So it'll be a really interesting thing. She's a studio executive as well as small scale studio exec. And she is a writer as well. So it's going to be really fun to have him on this Wednesday and kind of get the perspective for everything within the industry there. And we will cover a little strike stuff today, but we won't get too heavy because we do have that coming up soon. And, without further ado, oh, my mouse doesn't want to work. Oh, come on, mouse. I want to click my cool little Movie Monday intro. Oh, my God. Let me use my laptop thingy. Here we go, y'all. All right. We are in it to win it. Let's get going for the day. So these are the topics we will be covering today. We have strikes disrupting the summer box office. We have the decline of regional sports networks. We have Christopher Nolan says no to making more superhero films, but he does leave the door open for a possibility to Star Wars. Still iffy, but the fingers always crossed on that. There's actually a new Blumhouse horror wildlife series coming out, so it's going to be like a nature documentary series in a way, but it's going to be more horror and scary focused, which will be really interesting and cool to watch. There is Mayhem coming out on Hulu soon, which is just really interesting. I've kind of breached the surface on what it actually is, and we'll dive and delve into that article in a little bit, and that'll be really fun. The Veep creator has been given access and the blessing from the Kubrick's family estate to make Doctor Strangelove, I can't even speak this morning, Doctor Strangelove, or How I Learned to Love the Bomb, into a stage play. So that's kind of interesting. And then last but not least, we may cover, these are more just little fun topics. There's a new Bachelor show coming out. I don't watch The Bachelor. I don't watch Bachelorette or whatever. There's an old person version of it. There's an elderly version of The Bachelor coming out, which is just entertaining, I guess. I don't know. The thought about it is kind of funny, I guess, to me. And then The Machine has released its DVD or has released its release dates for its DVD and Blu-ray versions of the film. So let's jump into it all, and let's begin with let's begin with the strike stuff. Let's get it out of the way. If this mouse wants to work, I don't think it wants to work. Let me put a little Post-it note under it, and that might work as a mouse pad. It's kind of working. I need to get a mouse pad. I've never had my mouse do this. It's kind of done this the last few days. Do y'all know how to fix a haywire mouse, I guess? I don't know. That's not in my wheelhouse. But what is in my wheelhouse is talk on these articles. So let's do this thing. I just saw before I clicked off. Howdy, David. How you doing, man? Let's jump into things. Yeah, that mouse is gonna be annoying. Okay, it seems to be wanting to work now. All right, okay. Let's do this thing. So no stars, no red carpets, how Hollywood strikes could disrupt the summer box office. This is a Variety article written by Rebecca Rubin. And it's not too long. This is how long it is. It will be pretty quick. Y'all know I talk fast, but I think all of this stuff is good to talk about and just good to get your eyes on, or I would just kind of paraphrase the article for you. But without further ado, let's not paraphrase. I'm going to take a sip of my coconut water. Tasty. And oh, howdy, Laura. How you doing? And yeah, let's delve into this article. Where are we? Here we are. Nope, that is my Twitter. Here we are. For Tom Cruise, one of the most effective ways to sell tickets to blockbusters like Top Gun Maverick and Mission Impossible sequels has been recounting the horrors and headaches of performing his own death-defying stunts. In the lead-up to Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, however, Cruise hasn't been able to talk up all the antics of hanging off a runway train or jumping out of airplanes on late-night shows due to the ongoing writer's strike. And now, as the actors join the picket lines against Hollywood film and TV companies, the realm of promotion for upcoming projects is getting a lot narrower. According to SAG-AFTRA guidelines, stars aren't allowed to appear on daytime shows like Good Morning America or Today, attend premieres, participate in interviews for completed work, or even post projects on social media while the strike is in effect. Talent is also unable to go to conventions such as San Diego Comic-Con, which is held at the end of July, which sucks. But anyway, all of these restrictions are colliding with summer movie season, which is the biggest and busiest time of the year for multiplexes. Without actors to promote their upcoming blockbusters, will the box office take a hit? Duh. But it's never a good thing to have stars unavailable to promote films, says Paul Durgarbedian, a senior Comscore analyst. It's difficult to quantify the exact impact this brings to the box office, but there's no question it raises awareness. Analysts believe that depends on the duration of the strike. Imminent releases like Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, which opened days before film and TV actors hit the picket lines, as well as Greta Gerwig's cotton candy-colored Barbie and Christopher Nolan's dark atomic bomb drama Oppenheimer, which debuted on July 21st, will not be affected by the strike. They are best positioned because of these films were able to effectively roll out their marketing campaigns before the beginning of the strike with splashy magazine covers, viral interviews, and more. By this point, moviegoers are aware of these films, said Durgar Abedian. God, that'd be a difficult name to go through life with. The timing of the actor strike, while never advantageous but certainly understandable, isn't as big of a factor. But that could change, and this is where the article really comes into fruition. Where that could change in the coming weeks is the animated Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, August 2nd, the disaster thriller Meg 2, The Trench, sports drama Gran Turismo, the DC comic book adaptation Blue Beetle, and Denzel Washington's Equalizer 3 race to theaters. Because those are the films within this like month and a half, 2-month time span that is likely going to be the heaviest of all this writers and acting strike going on. That, I think, will be the heaviest of affected films right there. Of course, the strike may continue to go longer than that. It may be shorter than that, and it may hit Barbie and Oppenheimer worse than those guys if it ends quickly. And then we actually have a unified industry that wants us to all go see those films by then. It'll be interesting. And of course, we can't really gauge it as well until like it actually is happening in the present time, of course, and we can speculate as to where the future will bring us. But guesstimations are about as much as we can do because educated guesses are even hard at the moment. But anyway, let's continue with this article and just finish it real quick. August movies are less dependent on personal appearances, and hopefully they can compensate with advertising and other marketing activities. But are studios going to be advertising all that much whenever they don't have this cash influx? Oh my God, what is up with my mouse? It just like... I replaced the battery literally yesterday on Sidetrack in the middle of the stream. I was having a similar issue. I guess I'll use my little, what is it? It's D-pad, whatever the hell it's called on my laptop. This is what, I don't know if you can see my mouse moving, but that's what it looks like. Okay, well, anyway, let me finish the article. I'm getting distracted. I apologize, y'all. Hey, howdy, Brain Pain. Howdy. Where's Pinky? Where's Pinky? Pinky, howdy, Aaron, by the way. Yeah, let's keep going. Let's keep going. So August movies are less dependent on personal appearances and so on and so forth. For those films, the directors may play a larger part in talking up their movies and raising awareness with viewers at homes, which I kind of like. I like that the directors will kind of have a larger say in the marketing aspect of things because it is truly like their vision, and they should be the people marketing things just as much as actors do. I really like it when big name directors are out there going out with their actors and doing things with their actors. So hopefully that will kind of take hold a little bit, and hopefully it will stay after all this is over. Fingers crossed, of course. But anyway, and studios will ramp up spending on their promotional efforts like trailers and TV spots. Some of those upcoming films in preparation of the strike banked interviews and other marketing materials before the actors began to picket, which is smart. Hollywood companies have canceled events and pivoted plans for others, including Disney's Haunted Mansion remake, which opens theatrically July 28th, without the film stars Lakeith Stanfield, Tiffany Haddish, Owen Wilson, and Danny DeVito to walk the red carpet for interviews. Last weekend's world premiere was refashioned into a fan event, which has gotten a lot of really funny things out of Owen Wilson. At least he did a super little funny thing where people were surprised to see him. He said, "Oh, I think people just thought I was a talking car or something." And of course, I'm not saying it as funny as he did, but it's a funny little clip. Anyway, Disney characters, including Mickey, Minnie Mouse, Maleficent, and Cruella de Vil, were on hand to pose for photos and greet the moviegoers in attendance. And that's Disney can do that, but a lot of these other places can't. Comcast, Universal can, but like you don't really want to correlate completely opposing things with somebody that's like, you wouldn't have your Terminator stuff go promote your I was going to say Simpsons because it's a Universal, but obviously that's in the Disney umbrella now. You wouldn't have your Transformers movie go promote your Mummy movie, although that could be kind of cool and it would be interesting. But you know, their things don't correlate as well. Whenever you're in the House of Mouse, you're kind of just part of that house, and these do tend to flow a little easier together, more seamlessly, I guess. But instead, the studio is turning the night into a screening to celebrate the crew and craftspeople who contributed to making this landmark film, according to a spokesperson. Deeper into the fall, this is where we get back into the juice. There's anti-hero adventure Kraven the Hunter, Martin Scorsese's crime epic Killers of the Flower Moon, director Denis Villeneuve's Dune Part 2, Disney's superhero sequel The Marvels, and a Hunger Games prequel The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. If the strike is still going on at this point, it's past that little summer blockbuster part where the end aspect of that kind of stuff would be the Equalizer 3 and things like that. This is a whole different part of the year. This is a different quarter of the year, different section of the timeline, et cetera, et cetera. And if SAG-AFTRA and film companies remain at odds by the end of the summer, movies may start to move back on the calendar, according to studio insiders. All of these would be ones that would be moving back because none of these, Kraven was, I don't necessarily think it was the most expensive film that Sony's made, but they want it to be good. Morbius did not do good. Venoms have made a bunch of money, but have not been very critically acclaimed. This has the opportunity to kind of bridge the gap on both of those. I don't know if the critically acclaimed aspect of it will end up happening for this one, because they're looking to make it PETA's Kraven and not Kraven the Hunter. But we'll see. We'll see. And of course, Scorsese's, you want the first time De Niro and DiCaprio have been together for a Scorsese's full-length feature film, you'd want it to come out and have a good, successful theatrical run, and it's not likely to do that if the strike is going on. And same thing with Denis Villeneuve's Dune Part 2. We all want that as sci-fi people. So on and so forth. If there is no resolution, the fall awards movies, the big Thanksgiving films, and the year-end titles are going to be impacted. The marketing is going to suffer, Gross says. And suffer it will, and suffer it will in a big way. Pinky is trying to take over the world. That's where Pinky is. DGA's in the doghouse with the other two. Yeah, kind of essentially. So it's all iffy stuff at the moment. Iffy for the film industry in general. There's a lot of things going on. There are good things, there's bad things, and it depends on your own perspective on what those means. But there are both of those things, no matter what your perspective is. So it is a very interesting landscape at the moment. And I, for one, want to see it get back to normal, whatever the hell normal is. I'd like to see more people get back in the theaters generally. I want to not only revert back to normal, but I want to find a way for people to be reinvigorated to go see movies. If the strike works out well and actors and writers get paid better and more consistently, I think is the bigger thing. It's not bigger paychecks, it's consistent pay, being paid like an actual job and not being treated like contract workers all the time. Because you can be a contract worker, but if that same studio is hiring you over and over and over again for your contracts, you may as well just have a damn job with them. It's consistent pay, and it's being able to live off of that pay. But anyway, that would be nice. That would be very, very nice to see a reinvigoration of moviegoers, of your general audience, having a good time and enjoying the film that's at hand, and coming out soon. Y'all, this coconut water is really good. I actually got some from Costco the other day. I was doing a little Instacart or whatever, and I thought, oh, give me some coconut waters, and it bought me a whole freaking box of coconut waters. So I've been going through it, but I think I'm a fan. But anyway, coconut water distractions aside, let us continue on. Next up, this one's also interesting. This will be another one that I do read the entire article from, so bear with me on that one. But I think it's interesting in I was gonna say a variety of ways, but this is in a variety article. I thought I had a cool little pun to give you right there. This is actually a Hollywood Reporter article. There we are. There we are. Share it to you. And let's see what they have to say. Because it seems like not only a decline in your typical film industry, but there's a decline in regional sports networks as well. And we don't cover sports all the time over here. We have a little bit before by talking about the more gambling aspect of gambling within some sports, because that's some of the money things we like to talk about every now and then. And Schmook's done that, but it's been a while. So let's dive in just a little bit, you know? It's behind the slow motion implosion of regional sports networks. The ecosystem held together by the pay TV bundle is showing wear and tear, like the MLB taking over a bankrupt network, as teams and programmers game out what's next. So, yep. These we'll get into the meat of the story. I think that's where the good stuff is. So a sea change is being driven by cord cutting, which has put the pinch on RSN finances. While some bigger market RSNs are staying the course for now, many others are challenged. Warner Bros. Discovery, for example, told its league partners that it wants to exit the space. RSN is Regional Sports Network, by the way. It owns regional sports networks in Colorado, Houston, and Pittsburgh, and hands its right back down to the teams and leagues. But no company has been impacted more so than Diamond Sports. Formerly the Fox Sports RSNs, Diamond was launched by Sinclair Broadcast Group in 2019 in a $10.6 billion deal premised on leveraging the scale of all the RSNs to force pay TV providers to raise fees. However, Morgan Stanley's Ben Swinburne noted in a June 21st research report that the deal was ill-timed and over-leveraged, with cord cutting eating into the company's ability to pay interest. Diamond filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy protection in March and has already given up control of San Diego Padres games. The MLB took over production, and games are available to stream for free on some local stations, and other teams are expected to see their rights cut loose or fees cut down. So what's next? Wall Street analysis executives and league officials see multiple possible visions, though they come with a warning. The near and medium term is unlikely to be as lucrative for teams as pay TV's heyday. A sign of what's to come can be seen in new broadcast deals announced by the NBA's Phoenix Suns and Utah Jazz. The deals combine the oldest of old-school media technologies, games on local broadcast TV, with a new twist, a direct-to-consumer streaming service for cord cutters or superfans. The catch, of course, is that the new deals are not paying as much in rights fees as the RSNs could. Recall that before there were RSNs, local broadcast stations carried all the local team games, says Moody's senior VP Neil Begley. But local stations are also being pinched by the declining pay TV losses, and they would need to get higher affiliate fees than they currently receive to cover much of the licensing cost to the teams. All right, so that's really the bulk of it. You can always, of course, come back to this article if you like, because it is a long article, and we don't need to do too much of it. But I just wanted to give you all this graphic right here. I think that's a pretty interesting graphic to look at. And, of course, don't get me started, Harris. I seem to be the only one on the studio side. Everyone else is jumping on the other side. We need a fair debate from both sides. A fair debate from both sides would be nice. It'd be nice. I think a public debate between maybe not Fran Drescher, but someone up there like, or maybe even Fran Drescher, excuse me, and two or three of her maybe larger constituents that are big wigs that are also in that mediating room, in that in the crossfires per se. It'd be nice to see them debating with. It'd be hard to get Bob Iger and a couple of these other literal executives to get up somewhere and debate, but it would be nice to have them do like a presidential primary in the States. Typically, you know, there might be like 3 Democrats and 3 Republicans. It'd be cool to have 3 studios and 3 executives, or whichever way you want to say it. You know, that would be interesting because it'd bring us a little bit more I think it would help us mentally bridge the gap as moviegoers, as people that are not fully entrenched in the actual picket lines or in the studio's pocketbooks. It'd be nice to actually have both sides clearly state what they'd like on a public forum. There is, I think, there are, I guess, a few stipulations that would keep that from happening. I don't think they can legally do some stuff like that, but it would be nice for them to find a way to legally do that, and then it would just hopefully lessen. I don't like the word toxic and all that kind of stuff, but hopefully it would lessen the toxicity between both sides, because neither side wants to work with the other all that much right now. Obviously, right now it seems like SAG and the WGA want to work a little more so than the studios do, but only time will tell, and we will know sooner than later. But and all of this, all the strike has a lot to do with the declining reach of RNS, regional sports, or RSN, the regional sports networks as well. Because if you don't have cable the way cable has always been, and things are streaming, obviously we've seen Disney buy ESPN Plus. It's part of their bundle with Hulu and Disney Plus. We've seen Fox sell out Disney, but keep their sports network, and Fox Sports is like still entrenched in TV. Amazon's bought, well, it's either Monday Night Football or Thursday Night Football, one of the frickin' two. I don't remember, just because I don't pay attention to American football as much as I used to. But the landscape has completely changed over the past few years. And when it comes to regional teams and watching that on your, I grew up in Southeast Texas. Houston was our closest thing. So the Astros, the Rockets, the Houston Texans. If we can't get that on a local network, of course you can always go pay for ESPN. You can go pay for one of these other things, but they have so many other things to be broadcasting at a time, and they can only broadcast so much at a time that you may just miss out on your local team's sports. It'd be nice to find a way to bridge that gap. I don't know if the way to do that is to, like that article was saying, have each team have their own little thing, have the MLB buy out the little things, and then stream each individual region within their own region. That gets difficult, and it gets really complicated with how many deals people have to make. But I guess those deals were already being made by these large networks. So that is something to keep our eyes on, just as the strike ends, as streaming is kind of finding its true footholds. It's been finding its footholds for a long time. And I think this is going to be not the final foothold for it, but this is going to be like, all right, are you going to take a step up, or are you taking a step back, for streaming at least? And all of that is going to play a huge, 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 huge part in what actually happens with not just film, TV, but sports. Like, this is all correlative in many ways. All these things correlate together, and we're in for a ride. We are in for a ride. That is for sure. Let's see what David's saying. People are treating the studios like the Empire and WJ and SAG like the plucky rebels, when it's far from that. Let's remember, they need each other. That's totally true. That is really true. Like I said, this Wednesday, if y'all have any questions, I will put not a poll, but I'll put some questions up on a post in the community notes over on MCubed here, and I will open up questions, thoughts, statements, whatever you want to ask. Chambers is the guy's name, and he will be here Wednesday. He of course, playwright, acting coach, has his poll. He's gotten a lot of people prepared and into SAG before. He has worked alongside WGA writers. He does so all the time. His wife, I believe, is a member of the WGA. Don't quote me on that, but she is a film and TV writer herself. She is she has show ran, and she has been an executive for certain things, and she's great. I don't know if I can necessarily say exactly what she's done yet. I will ask by Wednesday to give you all a little more leeway. But she ran Disney Channel's most successful show over the past 2 decades, and kids show, children's network. But that doesn't mean she doesn't have her finger on the pulse of everything. So her husband, my quote unquote mentor, the guy that kind of convinced me to move out to LA, known him for a long time, been an acting coach of mine for a long, long time. He is the one who should be here Wednesday, and we'll save a lot of this kind of talk and this discussion for him. So that's kind of our strike talk for the day. So those two articles, the decline of regional sports and, of course, the disruption of the summer box office, those are very strike heavy. Past that, we're going to have a little more fun. We're going to dive into a little, not speculation, of course, because Christopher Nolan said, he said no. He was like, no, I will not direct a superhero movie, to a direct question of, will you direct a superhero movie again? He just simply stated no. And there was no continuation there. But it was a speed round of questions, and his answers were either yes, no, or pass. And whenever he was asked if he would direct a Star Wars film, what did he say? He did not say yes. But he did not say no. He said pass. And pass is just kind of a beautifully ambiguous way of saying maybe? I don't know what kind of Star Wars film Christopher Nolan would direct. I don't think he'd do a show or anything like that, but I don't know what type of film he would like to direct if he were to do a Star Wars film. I can, of course, guesstimate and speculate in many ways. I think it would be more in the vein of Rogue One and Andor, because he's just so sciencey in a lot of ways. Even whenever the science gets a little more sci-fi and not truly sciencey, where it gets into the fiction, like the end of Interstellar and some things like that, even though that is fairly science-based. I don't think he'd be playing. I assume that he loves the Force. He loves Jedi. He loves doing all that. If you're a fan of Star Wars, of course. But with his track record, with his thought process, with the way he makes his films, I would think it'd be more in the vein of Andor, Rogue One, maybe even Solo. A Nolan Star Wars film would be epic. Probably. Yes, I'm with you. The only not epic thing would be if he did it in the vein of Tenet, I guess. And I am a Tenet lover. I do love Tenet. Most people are like, it was awful, whatever. Watch it as many times as you watch Inception, and then square that, and then you might start to understand it. I don't know if I fully understand it yet, but I do like the concept. I mean, I like playing with concepts like that, and I appreciate that Nolan does it. Also, to wreck a real plane in real time and to get it in camera, I like to blow things up. I like it when Nolan blows things up. Can I leave it at that? But anyway, a Nolan Star Wars film would be really cool. I think it would be in that Rogue One Andor vein. I don't necessarily think it would follow your general rebel path or narrative, maybe in that Rogue One Andor sense. I think it might. Nolan's such an interesting person, and his brain works in such an interesting way. It likes to do concepts. So part of me would actually think he might kind of follow in a world between worlds thing, but I don't think that's going to be him. I think that they're leaving that more for the Taika Waititi kind of stuff. And it seems like Taika might not even be tackling all that, which is also interesting. The first thing that comes to mind, which I don't think would be a blockbuster popular type thing, but I'd like to see Christopher Nolan tackle the Celestials. And Celestials in Star Wars are almost similar to Celestials in Marvel in a way, where they are the ancient old beings, but they're not they are kind of giant in their own ways. They are kind of similar to Marvel stuff, but they're not they don't fit within the Marvel narrative, of course. Star Wars Celestials are primordial force beings, and that would be interesting to see. But also, I just don't expect him to go into the force stuff necessarily. If he weren't no Taika for Star Wars, why not though? I legit, I cannot stand Thor: Love and Thunder. Name one other bad Taika Waititi project. Name one thing that's even close to being a bad Taika Waititi project. He's literally he won an Oscar for his film right before Love and Thunder. He got Oscar nominated for his first big old short film. The guy's amazing. The guy's an amazing talent. I hate this Taika slander. And I've been part of the Taika slander. And he deserved a little slander for Thor Love and Thunder, but he doesn't deserve the continued slander. He's an amazing filmmaker, and I am really excited for, is it Next Goal Wins or Last Goal Wins? Whatever his next film is with Michael Fassbender. It seemingly is going to be that kind of return to form, that lower budget character take of a film. And that I'm really excited for, because I love it when Taika finds a character that he likes, or a few characters that he likes, and then he delves into it. That's what made What We Do in the Shadows so damn funny, and now has made What We Do in the Shadows, the TV show, I'm pretty damn sure the highest rated sitcom of the last 4 years, and it's only been on for 4 years. So give me more Taika, but make sure Taika I think Taika does best whenever he is either working off of something that he loves, like a book, which is a lot of his films have been about, or just a story that he's just been pondering over for a long time. That, or whenever he's working with Jermaine Clement, who he did a lot of What We Do in the Shadows with and has done a lot of other projects with. And that is kind of a good producing and writing partner for him to just bounce back off of and herald him in. And they both love silly shit, so they'd still do a bunch of fun, silly stuff. But they're good at holding each other back. Kind of like Feige is, of course. Character studies, yeah. Taika is amazing at character studies. And Thor Love and Thunder, while we're just talking about it real fast, should have been a character study of Jane Foster in her final moments of life. And it wasn't. And Thor Love and Thunder will always hurt because of so. But I still think he's great at it. Typically, I think he's. I can't speak right now. I started touching my coconut water and thinking about coconut water. I don't know. Next Goal Wins or Last Goal Wins, whichever it's actually called, I think will be a really good finger on the pulse for where Taika is at, and that I think will be more so what we should look at going into the Star Wars film. So it's not that I don't trust Taika anymore, because I do. It's just now the hesitation is there. That's all. But I do love Taika as a filmmaker. It kind of hurts seeing all of the Taika slander. But when you make a film as bad as Thor: Love and Thunder, you got to have a little bit of slander. I'm just saying. But anyway, David, I just saw you commented. You said earlier, so he and her are on the side of WJ and SAG, or is it going to be a balanced view? Finish till Wednesday. They are definitely SAG and WGA people, but I think just having their insightful thoughts, because they've been here for 30 years, so they weren't here the last time the strike was happening, of course, but they've been here for a long time. They've been here throughout multitudes of strikes, so it'll be interesting to have that insight, I guess. I will try to keep it as balanced as possible. I won't take the devil's advocate side, because that would keep me from ever being able to join any of these things and get paid properly, because they don't pay you properly if you're not a union member out here, and they don't talk about all that. But anyway, yeah. So they will be SAG and WGA oriented, but we will try to be as objective as possible. And I think it'll be a really good interview. I think it'll be a good time. Not interview necessarily, but we'll still cover whatever film news happens that day, and we'll have a little fun, insightful thought process to follow along there. And Jay and Matt should be here as well. I'd hope both are able to make it, and I think it will be a good episode. We'll see. Of course, we don't know until it happens, but y'all come up with some good stuff. I'll come up with some good stuff. Jamie and Matt always come up with some good stuff off the top of their head. So we shall see. We shall see. I've got faith. I've got hopes, and it'll just be good to get everybody on not necessarily the same page, but allow everybody to see other people's pages, I guess, if that makes sense. In the narrative that is this strike. But you did just say I would rather see Peter Jackson in Star Wars films if he loved it as much as Lord of the Rings. PJ coming in for. Don't get me too excited, David. You got. I need my coconut water again. Star Wars is my main love. Lord of the Rings is my first love. I think I've said it multiple times. My first film memory that stays with me is Lord of the Rings, Return of the King. Smeagol turning into Gollum, essentially. Smeagol taking the ring and becoming Gollum, killing his brother, and doing, was it his brother or his cousin? I think it's his brother. Deagle, yes, Deagle and Smeagol. He killed his brother, that's right. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty positive. It could be a cousin named Deagle. Them hobbits, they always have similar names. But hell yeah, Dave. PJ and Lord of the Rings. PJ and Star Wars would be great. The Hobbits are the Hobbits. I do really enjoy them. They're not the Hobbit that the book was, where Lord of the Rings may not be the exact Lord of the Rings the book was. It's 90% there or 95% there, where the Hobbit is not the Hobbit that the book was. The three of them are more like somewhere between 40 and 60% where the Hobbit book was, so I still like them a lot for what they are, and I like a lot of the CGI that they were able to accomplish within those, but a lot of the CGI that they did put in there also kind of halted a lot of things too. It either looked really good and functioned really, really well, or the exact opposite, I feel like. And a lot of those big battle scenes with giant armies, those were a little iffy. The Rings trilogy are the films I've seen the most at a cinema, at least 3 times each. 3 times each. Well, I guess it is hard for you to get to a cinema because my crazy ass, I'll go see 5 or 6 times. I'll go see a movie 5 or 6 times if I really like it. I saw Everything Everywhere All at Once either 5 or 6 times last year. But Lord of the Rings, if you're going to go see movies back and forth and see them again and again, those are the ones to go see. We just got 20th anniversaries, right? Within the last couple of years. So 30th anniversaries in a decade, I'm going to be going to see those again. Well, they might even re-release them for 25th anniversary. Might as well. Quarter centennial, they may as well. I'll go see them then too. Because legit, these are my favorite films. I own all 3. I also own all 3 Hobbits. I also own all 3 of these in extended edition. I also own all 3 Hobbits extended edition. I like Lord of the Rings. What can I say? Lord of the Rings is great. LOTR, baby. LOTR, AATLA, SW, SG. Now to add Stargate. That's where my heart lives. Those 4 are probably the cornerstone of my mindset within IP. I love me some Lord of the Rings, Star Wars, Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I've fallen absolutely in love with Stargate. So yeah, I'd say those are my cornerstones right there. But let us continue on, because now I'm just talking about all kinds of fun stuff, which we can continue later. But we do have just a couple more topics to cover, which next up sounds pretty damn interesting. This one is a very short article, so I will be reading it, but it's not going to be so long and stuff like that. And this is really interesting. I'm actually pretty excited just for the thought of this. This is something that you're going to be seeing more of, not necessarily this, but films and TV shows like this. My last strike comment, I would have sympathy for the studios if they hadn't dug their own hole with bad business decisions and bad movies. Yes, that too. We could do a little, David, do you have a camera or anything? It'd be fun. I'll mediate like the two of y'all. If y'all want to talk one day or something like that, that could be fun. That's just totally just a thought off the top of my head. You don't have to do it, but if y'all wanted to, David and Aaron come on and have a discussion about it, that'd be kind of cool. That'd be fun. That'd be a good way to include everybody and do some fun stuff and get the finger on the pulse of where moviegoers are as well, because that's one thing that we haven't really been talking about is we've been talking about how moviegoers either go see things or not, but we haven't talked about why necessarily they aren't. We've delved into it a little bit, and people have been delving into it all across the internets and interwebs. No thanks, I'm a keyboard warrior. No worries. But yeah, that might be a good idea to get something like that going. That could be interesting. But anyway, while the strike is going on, we have heard people talking about, so reality shows are going to be the big thing. All these studios are going to be tossing reality. Yes, they will be, and we're going to cover a little bit of that later. I'm not going to be a reality show person ever. Sorry, y'all. There are some reality things that I don't mind and I will tune into, but not things that I tune into week per week. Nothing that excites me enough like that week per week. This, on the other hand, may be something I tune into because I'm a nature guy. I like to hike. I like to go out and about. I'm from the swamp. I'm from the marshes. I'm 30 minutes from the coast right now, and where I was raised. I'm a mountain guy. I'm a desert guy. I literally like any and all nature that you can do. I like to hike, like to swim, like to bike, do whatever, We are getting a Blumhouse Nightmares of Nature horror thriller themed wildlife series, docu-series, whatever you want to call it. And that's pretty exciting to me. If they're going to start doing a bunch of different documentaries and reality shows, and things of the sort, this is kind of like right where we want them to do things, just because it's legitimately still creative, it's still interesting, and it could bring in money to the studios, which would allow them to keep paying people, etc., etc. So this is a super brief article. Real quick, y'all. I will read it, and then let's talk, okay? So, horror studio Blumhouse, and natural history producer Plimsoll Productions have teamed up on a new factual series. The two companies are developing Nightmares of Nature, a series that follows animal heroes battling to survive the true-life horrors only real nature can provide. The idea is to blend natural history filmmaking through a horror lens, a place where trees bleed, zombies, snails dwell, and vampire fish reign supreme. Vampire fish are really cool. That's kind of fun. Blumhouse is behind Amazon's The Horror of Dolores Roach and films including Get Out and Megan, while ITV-owned Plimsoll is behind series such as Hostile Planet, Tiny World, and Night on Earth. No network or platform is currently attached. Nightmares of Nature is produced by Blumhouse Television and Plimsoll Productions. Plimsoll is best in class in the world of natural history and factual programming, and in Nightmares of Nature, Plimsoll and Blumhouse are playing to our storytelling and producing strengths, said Chris McCumber, president of Blumhouse Television. It's only natural to be scared about the things that go bump in the night, but Nightmares of Nature isn't a projection of the supernatural. Once you start looking at the natural world, you'll find things as terrifying, as anything in a horror movie, added Alan Ayres, head of Plimsoll USA. To tell that story, we could not hope for better collaborators than Blumhouse. Combining the world's greatest horror filmmakers with some of the world's best natural history storytellers is a unique opportunity to create a more visceral, emotional point of entry to nature than anything we've seen before. What do y'all think? What are your thoughts? I really love documentaries, but I don't watch them like I used to. I literally couldn't tell you. I think the last documentary I turned on was one that I was a lead in, which I may as well. I don't know if I've ever said that. I can't get this hat on right. There we go. I did. Have you ever been on HBO Max or Max now and seen Murders at Starved Rock? If you watch that, of course, I had shorter hair at the time and no goatee and things of the sort. But that's me. The guy that is playing, oh my God. Oh, it's a brain fart. I know the name. But the guy that was most wrongfully imprisoned for the longest time, I think is the grammatical way of saying that, in the U.S. He was in jail for 60 plus years, and is just now kind of being released, and it's really pretty beautiful to see. I believe the guy. I think he's innocent. Chester Wedger. There we go. That's the guy's name, Chester Wedger. So I play Chester Wedger. You don't see my face or anything because it's a documentary, but you do see the back of my head. I roll some bullets through my teeth. You see me doing some cool things with my hands and in jail and stuff like that. It was really fun. But I really don't think I've seen any documentaries or anything of the sort since then, besides nature stuff. I'll just put on nature stuff in the background a lot of times. And where this will probably end up being background material in a couple years, I will watch it so excitedly at first because I do love nature stuff. I love nature documentaries, nature series. I documentaries have a script, so are those writers not members? Yeah, typically they're not. Some are though. So those members will not be writing those scripts, but the non-union ones will. Love documentaries about treasure hunting, murders, and mysterious and Egypt pyramids. Yes. Well, okay. Where I said I haven't watched documentaries much the last 2 years, I've made up for it with YouTube. You know, everything I watch on YouTube is typically a documentary if it's not film or TV oriented, of course. I just haven't. I feel like you get better bang for your buck on YouTube by far. Documentaries will typically be one-sided by whoever made it, and they will completely show that one side for an hour and a half, 2 hours, but you can get almost multiple points of view and as much information as you get within that time, within 20, 30 minutes, sometimes 12, 14, 15 minutes on a YouTube channel, and sometimes get both sides as well, which is nice. And if you only get one side, then watch another 15, 20, 30-minute YouTube thing about the other side of it. It's interesting. I think it's the more efficient way of doing things. But treasure hunting, murders and mysterious, and Egypt pyramids, yes, please, all of the above. And I think this kind of fit in the murders and mysterious category a little bit because it will be natural murders, I guess. It'll be nature just being nature, and that, of course, can be terrifying in and of itself. So that will be fun to watch. I'm excited for it. That's one that I will tune in every week for. I don't tune in like that, of course, for reality stuff, but it's reality enough that it's not. So yes, I shall. But honestly, while we're talking reality real quick, there are two other things I want to talk about, two points to talk about. While we're on the reality subject real quick, just because this sounds like the dumbest thing ever, but it's also kind of sweet and kind of people will watch it. There's no way they don't. I don't watch The Bachelor. I don't watch The Bachelorette. I don't watch Love Island or any of these other dozens and dozens of shows like that. But they are very, very, very popular. People love them. So whoever's behind The Bachelor has greenlit another series. And it's a guy named Gary is going to be the Bachelor in this. But Gary is no typical young buck looking for a beautiful bachelorette. He's 71 years old, and then this is going to be called the Golden Bachelor Show. And they are going to be finding, I don't know if they're looking for a lady in her 50s, 60s, 70s as well, or if they're going young with it or what. Like, I don't understand how this show is going to work. The Golden Bachelor. I just saw the premise, thought it was hilarious, and that's kind of all I want to say about it. Besides, and now that's all I got to say because I just like to chuckle sometimes. But that reality show, it can't be good, can it? I haven't ever seen The Bachelor, The Bachelorette, but those can't be good either. And people tune in every week. I don't know if I've actually watched a reality show since I stopped watching Chip and Joanna after they started doing things, just because they're from Waco. And sorry, but Waco is one of the two cities in Texas that Texans don't like. There's Waco's wacko, and then Lubbock is the Lubbotics of Texas. So those are the two cities that Texans are like, yeah, we can do without. So that's why. People love watching train wrecks. That's just stupid. Totally, completely. But it's going to sell, and you know it's going to sell, and that just blows my mind still. Like, the fact that 80 for Brady had the audience it had going to a movie theater, it'll tell you that this is going to do well. And add that with your normal, regular reality TV audience, which is way more frequent than your movie-going audience. Whew, they're going to make some cash, but Golden Bachelor? Really? Golden Bachelor, like 71 years old, looking for. Hey, you're old and you're widowed or a widower, and you're looking for more love, or you may have never married and you're finally ready to settle down in your golden years, whatever it may be. I like the idea of it, but old people on TV is already difficult enough. Sometimes, I guess there are some more trained people, but they have to be part of Hollywood for a long time or part of TV syndication in some level or something. Putting old people on camera is difficult enough a lot of the time, and getting them to stay coherent and to hang out and to talk and to be able to convince a nation or two or three, however many groups of people are watching this, to fall in love with that character / person. Golden Bachelor, brought to you by KY. Golden Bachelor, brought to you by your local morticians. Like Golden Bachelor, brought to you by your local funeral homes. Oh my God, it's gonna be funny as hell. That no. I almost said like I might watch an episode of it. We got to go on to the next topic because I don't want to watch an episode of that ever. And I've been so good. I've never watched a Bachelor or Bachelorette episode. I'm not going to watch a Golden Bachelor episode to begin anything. I'm not going to watch the other two either. I respect myself too much for that. I respect myself most of the time, but too much for that. Too much for that. Anyway, coconut water. With how many times I've said coconut water this stream, it's just a really fun phrase to say. Can they sponsor me? C2O. If you ever watch this, sponsor a bro. That rhymed. Okay. But besides hydration, let's jump back into film news. Polydent. Let's do this. I want to do the animation thing next. Let's talk about how the Kubrick estate has done something that we never been gay. That just all the different like ointments that you can think of, just have them Centrum Silver. Okay, all right. I'm gonna keep chuckling. Where did I put this little thing? Dr. Strangelove. Here we go. So this is just awesome, interesting, a little cuckoo, a little crazy, but I think in the greatest of ways. The Kubrick estate, who is an estate that I would not have thought really is, go reboot and remake and sequel, and they're not. They're most definitely not that. But they are kind of auteurs in their own way, just being, I guess, part of the Kubrick family lineage. And they have given their blessing to turn Dr. Strangelove, or How I Learned to Love the Bomb, into a stage adaptation from Armando Iannucci, or Iannucci, I think is how you say it. Iannucci, if it's an I don't know. But the guy that created Veep is the easiest way of saying that. So, any initial thoughts on that? This is not that long of an article per se. It's not that short of one. This is more just... Oh, yeah, we'll read this. I'm trying to paraphrase this article. We won't go through the whole thing, but we'll read a paragraph. The BBC is the news. The BBC has the news. Okay, that's confused me just for a second. And reports that Iannucci's adaptation comes with the blessing of Kubrick's family. Says Kubrick's widow, Christiana Kubrick, "We have always been reluctant to let anyone adapt any of Stanley's work, and we never have. It was so important to him that it wasn't changed from how he finished it. But we could not resist authorizing this project. The time is right. The people who are doing it are fantastic. And Strangelove should be brought to a new and younger audience." I do agree with that. I am sure Stanley would have approved of it too. Furthermore, Iannucci has been granted access to Kubrick's archives, including earlier drafts of the script, and discarded scenes that ultimately weren't filmed. He has adapted some of those into the upcoming production. The production will be co-written and directed by Sean Foley, Brass Eye and Mindhorn, and will retain the original 60s setting. Like in the film, Iannucci and Foley are seeking out one chameleonic actor to play the three key roles that Peter Sellers played in the film, including the titular Dr. Strangelove. I like that idea. I don't like the idea of having to bring it to a new audience just to remake the whole thing. But I do like the idea of not remaking it, but adapting it for the stage. I think that is kind of a proper way. No one can ever do Peter Sellers. Exactly. I don't think trying to do that on film would be effective at all, because he kind of he's so bombast for I don't know another way to describe it in the film as an actor, that it's almost like a stage acting. Stage acting and screen acting are very different. Screen acting sometimes character acting can kind of dive into stage acting to a degree, just because it gets a little more out there. You're really pushing yourself. You're doing crazy things or something like that, you know. Where when you're on a screen actor, think CSI Miami. Looks like 2 bullet wounds, and so you know you're whispering. It's much more okay. This you're in the now with this person, versus the stage acting is very out there. You need the entire audience to hear what you're saying, because they don't have speakers. They're relying on an auditorium. And Peter Sellers almost had a stage. And when people stage act on screen, it feels like overacting. He almost stage acted, and there was no overacting with it. I think, of course, Dr. Strangelove is a classic for a damn good reason. And I think the only way to really have someone even get close to doing Peter Sellers, I don't think they're going to be able to do as well as Peter Sellers per se, but to put them in a stage medium, I think is an infinitely not easier job. I don't know necessarily think that's the right word, but a more doable job than trying to turn it into another film or something of the sort. I really think that the theater is the right place to do that, because of Peter Sellers' characters, all 3 characters. I'm intrigued. I wonder who they'll end up choosing for it, if they're going to choose someone like a known actor, known stage actor, or if they're not. Because it is the Veep creator, I don't think that they can continue with this all that much. So it's going to be pushed off until after the strike is my gut reaction, my first thought. But I do like the idea. Do y'all like the idea of this? Of course, no one can ever outdo Peter Sellers. I'm with you, Brain Pain. But do you think the stage is a better medium to try to accomplish having that type of character be brought back in a way? Because I don't think the screen's the way to do it. I really don't. I still think this film stands up 1,000% to this day, exactly as is. And if you don't like black and white, like, hey, we're getting black and white with Oppenheimer for a good chunk of that movie. So, like, you know, The Lighthouse was fully black and white a couple years ago. I don't think that's the issue. I would usually say outdated performances, outdated writing. Stanley Kubrick doesn't do outdated. Stanley Kubrick just does it right, you know? So I think it is poised to do well in this medium more so than any other medium. And if they are going to reboot or redo or whatever, rehash might be the better way of saying it, anything Stanley Kubrick, this is one of the older ones that's more plausible for doing so. And it doesn't have an audience outside of film lovers, I guess, within my age range, and people a little older and people a little younger than me. So 30s and teens and younger and all that. So I think it's good. I like the Veep guys. I think Veep was really good. I didn't ever watch it through its entirety, chronologically per se, but everything I've ever heard about it's amazing. So I got hope for it. I've got hope for it. Any other thoughts before we move on to our very last topic, which you actually just saw on the sidelines of that past article, which I'm pretty excited for this one. Any other thoughts real quick? Huh? Agree with stage would have more to appeal to people who have not seen the movie. Yeah, I just think it makes more sense, right? Well, before we jump forward, just while I have the thought here, if y'all have never seen the documentary, while we did talk about documentaries a little bit ago, The Film Worker is amazing. It is a documentary made about more so Leon Vitelli, who was one of the main actors for Barry Lyndon. And after he did Barry Lyndon with Kubrick, he just was so enamored with how Kubrick worked, how his brain worked, that he said, I'm dropping my entire career and devoting it to helping you. He was Kubrick's editor. He literally did any and every job on a film set that you could do for Stanley Kubrick. And, usually you want people that are hyper specified for these jobs. And I guess it really showed that you can be a film worker more so than a filmmaker or an actor or a gaffer or a boom guy or whatever. You can literally do anything if you put your mind to it within this industry and do it for decades upon decades. And Leon Vitelli is someone who I think he just recently passed away. I think he passed away within the last year or two. And that was super sad, super duper sad. I might be wrong, and someone like close to him that was also in the film worker died, but I'm pretty sure he passed away. And yeah, if you never had the chance to watch The Film Worker, check it out. Really check it out. But as we move on over here, we're going to move on to a little mayhem. Not just your normal mayhem, actually. I would say a little anime-ham. Huh? Like what I did there? I didn't really do it. They came up with it first. I'm just punning along, as they say. But, I clicked share this screen, and I didn't actually click share it with y'all. This is why technology is not my strong suit, y'all. How's this look? A little anime-ham. Now you get it. Took me a second. Oops. Hulu is bringing Anime Ham experience to San Diego Comic-Con with fan-favorite adult animated series. So, this is some of the only stuff I think that we will get truly film and TV, mostly TV, of course, oriented at San Diego Comic-Con this next week or so. This is also an article that I shall be reading a little bit. I will scroll through it for you first. So it's not long. It ends there. And it's broken up, so we will talk about the little broken up pieces as we go along. Sound like a plan? But I'm happy when I see my Futurama people pop up. Nobody does it like Futurama. Futurama's the best. Futurama will always be the best. I don't know if it is the greatest sci-fi series ever made, but I will argue that it could be classified at that most days of the week. Or at least there's always an argument to be made for it. Anyway, let us delve. Let us dive. Let's get into it. As Hulu announced yesterday, the streaming platform is launching a hub that champions the massive animation and anime content that subscribers can find on the platform. The Anime Ham is already a reality, but during this year's San Diego Comic-Con, Hulu is bringing it to life through a massive fan experience that invites attendees to the 2D world of some of its most famous adult animations. They're calling it Hulu Anime Ham. Enter the second dimension. And Collider is excited to exclusively reveal a first look at the activation today. Good Lord, English is difficult sometimes. Let me have a little more agua. But any thoughts? Do you have any animated series that you would love to just jump and dive into before we dive into this article, of course? Is there a 2D world that you would like to be a part of? Because one of the first things that came to mind whenever I asked myself that question is literally the first thing this article covers. In the Solar Opposites activation, fans of the series have a chance of getting tossed inside the wall, even if it's ill-advised. I'm going in the wall. I don't eat candy like I used to, but I would if I lived on the wall. If y'all have never seen Solar Opposites, there's literally a show within the show about all the sci-fi people that are very Rick and Morty-like that came to Earth and are just doing a bunch of sci-fi stuff all the time. The two kids they have with them, which are just younger clones of themselves, essentially, have legitimately shrunk down hundreds of people and put them inside of their wall like a hamster cage, essentially. And all of these people are living within a wall. And it is the funniest and actually, I think the core emotional it's the full narrative of the show. The show doesn't really focus that much on narrative storytelling, where the wall does, which makes the show within the show almost better than the show itself. I love it. But let us continue. Meanwhile, in the Great North, the Alanis Morissette constellation will be projected into the sky and give life advice for Judy Tobin and attendees. So, okay, I don't know the Great North, but it is, I think it's It's a Canadian-based animated show, right? I think Carrie and Shelley would really like that one, possibly. We'll have to ask them about it. I don't know if they're here right now, but we will ask them about it next stream they're in. But yeah, Great North sounds cool. The next one sounds up my alley a little bit. The American Dad activation will challenge you to remember all of Roger the Alien's disguises presented throughout the show's 18 seasons, in the appropriately titled Hall of Infinite Rogers. I could not get that right. I couldn't even try to get that right, but I would try to get it right. And I don't know how successful I would be, but I could remember a bunch of them. Now, if I just had to name them off, not really. I need some pictures. If I could choose pictures and like this or this, I could do that one, but probably not. I do like American Dad more so than Family Guy. But no, I think American Dad's my favorite. I think pound for pound, I like Cleveland Show better than a lot of Family Guy. But American Dad's my favorite of their little trifecta over there. Do y'all have a favorite of those three? Do you think the Cleveland Show's underrated, American Dad's underrated, Family Guy's overrated, or underrated again? Opinions, huh? Anybody? Because there's a lot of stuff within that little Seth MacFarlane world. If I had to appear in an animation, it would be old school Scooby-Doo or Family Guy. Old school Scooby-Doo would be great. Family Guy would be fun, fighting giant chickens and such, but old school Scooby-Doo. Old school. Hey, I got my bucket hat. I'm ready. Let's go on an adventure. I'm pumped. But two of the most famous living rooms in the adult animation world are getting recreated to the Family Guy and the Simpsons activations. While on the latter, you can just pull a Homer, kick back, and think of your own couch gag. The former lets you step into Stewie's time travel pad and do a photo op. Okay. So out of those two, would y'all rather do the Stewie photo op or would y'all rather hang out on the couch? Because I love time travel photo op stuff. That would be really fun. But I like sitting up on a couch and getting comfy. And I could say dough as many times as possible. I literally used to have dough as one of my text tones. And it was great because it was just the simplest little thing. It caught your attention like, oh, something's going on. And it was a quick little text tone. It was better than a chime. It didn't annoy people like a chime. Most people wouldn't register it after a couple times, which was really funny. It was great. I might have to do that again one day. Actually, it might. No, that's not my text tone now. I always keep it on vibrate. I never know. Anyway, out of those two, at the end of the day, I'd probably go the couch. I'd go the couch over Stewie's little time travel photo op pad. But I like the idea of both, jumping into these 2D worlds. And if you'd like to be more of a part of your favorite adult animated series, the Bob's Burger Grand reopening lets you snap a pic with the Belchers while you... Oh, okay, well, that's a different thing. I'll finish that sentence. I was never big on Bob's Burgers. I really liked the cast. Whatever Shaw, why can't I remember her first name? Shaw, that does, I think, the main girl, Tina, in the show. She's an amazing actress. I watch her in What We Do in the Shadows. She's been a Taika Waititi person for a long time. I think she's great. Bob's Burgers has never been the thing to do it for me, where a lot of these other shows have. And let me see. Family Guy first, then American Dad. Then Cleveland Show. Don't watch American Dad. What? Do you not watch it because you're not from the Americas? I mean, that would make sense. That would make sense. I guess it might not be as popular of an international show. I've never thought of it. I just think the writing in American Dad is significantly better than Family Guy most of the time. Part of that is because I guess they've got an alien that's willing and capable and always does go out and do crazy things, which is nigh endlessly entertaining, of course. And then there's a talking German fish, too, which is... I like the talking bear and the Cleveland Show, but it ain't a talking fish in American Dad. I do love the Cleveland Show, though. I think I enjoy Family Guy. I haven't really watched it that much in the past 5, 6, 7 years. I do like it a lot, but I've fallen out of love with it where I grew up loving it. Cleveland Show, I always love more, mostly, I guess, because of the Cleveland Show. This is the Cleveland Show. And I can't sing, so I'm not even going to get into that, but I could. Kristen Shaw. There we go. Thank you for saving me from my self-brain pain. I almost went on a little sing-along. That could have been bad. But let's continue on. Archer is also a show that I really do enjoy. I just haven't ever taken the time to like delve into. But you can simulate Archer's opening sequence featuring yourself. You just need to step into the wall of agency heroes and become one of ISIS's most celebrated secret agents. ISIS? Is that what it's called on the show? Independent spy something something something? Really? Have that shows you how much I've actually watched Archer. I do like what I have seen, and it always I like the cast of that, of course, as well. But ISIS is their spy agency? Anyway, let's keep going. Because last but not least, Hulu is going big as it welcomes Futurama back into its main series catalog. Not just the catalog. We know Futurama is the main series. The acclaimed animated series returns for a revival season a decade after it officially ended for the second time at Fox. The series' activation at SDCC will certainly stand out. Hulu decided to build a 55-foot replica of headquarters along with a crash-landed Planet Express ship that you might recognize if you watch just a few seconds of Futurama opening sequence. The Hulu Animayhem enter the second dimension activation set up at the Bayfront parking lot at SDCC, which is a bit apart from the San Diego Comic-Con crowd, but still very much part of the event. You should watch American Dad because Patrick Stewart is in it. Yes, totally. I actually I've been saying a couple different things, but I really do think American Dad is the most well-written out of all those shows. And because of that, it's the funniest. I think there's a better structure because obviously, I guess Peter works. He works at a firm. I guess I always forget. Because he's had a couple different jobs, but he does have a main job, I guess. Where American Dad, he does lose his job, get a new job, whatever an episode sometimes. But I think American Dad's better because it does stay really consistent with this one of our main characters has a job here all the time. She is a housewife most of the time until she gets bored or needs to go do something and does that. Roger's always doing something crazy and insane, and you can rely on that insanity from his character. I just think it's a better dynamic in a lot of ways, where I still like Family Guy a lot, and I really do love the Cleveland Show. I think American Dad does it best out of the three. But Futurama, of course, is the one that I really am excited about. And if I had the chance to go into that 55, I might sneak. It could. How much does a day ticket cost? Actually, a day ticket's going to cost just as much as it would to get back and forth to San Diego. That gas is too pricey in California. I'm sorry. I was debating going down to San Diego next week just for a day or something, just to go jump in the Futurama. There's a chance I might, but I don't think I will. Peter works at a brewery. That's right. But he doesn't always work at a brewery, right? Does he work in the offices in the brewery? I don't necessarily remember. But Futurama to go to the headquarters would make my day. Little Planet Express would not just make my day, that'd make my week, make my month. That might make my life. I love me some Futurama. And wait. Today's the 17th. No. Futurama's the 27th. I almost got really excited there. I was like, is Futurama out today? No. I'm pretty positive it's the 27th. Let me double check just because now my brain is freaking out a little bit. Is Futurama coming back in 2023? July 24th, not 27th. Okay. All right. Yep, in the office. That's right. Okay, that's why I have the office in my brain. He works in the office for the brewery. That makes sense. Okay. But yeah. Futurama. I'm so excited for it. I'm thinking about Futurama now. What season is this? It's either 14 or 15 or 16, right? Something like that. But one way or another, I'm pumped. I'm going to try to start making some Futurama videos for Sidetrack. I don't know exactly what I could and should do for that, y'all give me ideas. Let me know what kind of stuff would you like to see about Futurama, honestly. Because that's kind of something I'd like to do for Sidetrack. Obviously, Jamie always likes more content to toss out there, more fun little projects, and that might be a fun little project to tackle, of course. I need to do a little more Star Wars stuff on there, of course, too. But Star Wars and Futurama. Give me ideas. Give me ideas, y'all. Yeah, that's kind of all I got for y'all today. The last thing I was going to say, or am going to say, is The Machine. It comes out on DVD and Blu-ray on August 15th. And if you have yet to see The Machine, it's totally worth watching. It's a lot of fun. I think it's one of the better comedy movies of the year. I wouldn't necessarily say Bert Kreischer's acting in it is one of the better acting moments in any of the comedies of the year. But everybody else in that movie makes it really good. I think it's really funny overall. I love the story itself. It's just funny. And Mark Hamill himself is really good in there. So check out The Machine on August 15th. But yeah, that's kind of all I got for today. Y'all want to hang out a little bit? Just y'all have any questions in the chat? If you have any ideas for Wednesday, whenever we have the writer and acting coach come on, do y'all have anything that I should ask them? Obviously, I'll put a little thing in the community notes kind of thing, but any ideas up front? Any questions for me? Any thoughts, statements, ideas? What are you guys watching right now? What are you thinking? Well, how are we starting this week? Did y'all start the week off well? Start the week off not so well? Well, what are you thinking? Obviously, it's just noontime, a little past noontime over here. I know in the UK it's about 8 p.m. and we got a couple UK folk around here, so it's late in the day for y'all. So I hope you started off the week well. Yeah. What are y'all thinking? Well, while I'm here though, let me do my spiel real quick. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. We have Patreon link down in the description below, and Woodger affiliate link as well. The goal, of course, is to hit 500 subscribers soon, and I'd like to get 50 likes on this post right here. Would you help? Thank you. And yeah, that's my spiel. I kind of messed up my spiel because I wanted to say Woodger affiliate link before Patreon, and I just went Patreon, or whatever I did. But you get the gist of it. Yeah, any thoughts, y'all? Before we get on out of here in a little bit, any thoughts about this Wednesday or strike thoughts, thoughts about working within the industry itself? It doesn't all have to be strike stuff for Wednesday. Whenever Chambers comes on, we can talk generally more about what it's like to write within the industry. He's published a bunch of acting books as well for youth and for young adults. He's even published like adult acting stuff, of course, as well. I've known this guy for a long time. Good guy. He's gonna have some decent insight, and yeah, I'm excited for it. So I will put something in the community notes so we can kind of get like official questions asked. But anything off the top of y'all's head that just might be a fun topic, fun discussion thread to go down? Anything? Because I expect Wednesday to go pretty damn well, especially with Jamie and Matt. I think it'll be a really fun conversation. We'll dive into things. And not only this Wednesday, playwright / acting coach who has a wife that is a writer as well and a studio exec on a smaller level. He's this Wednesday. I've confirmed that. I'm trying to get a buddy of mine who owns a couple theater studios out here. Not studios, but theaters. He owns the one. He was in my play last year, and he owned the theater that we performed at. He also owns the theater that I was producing a play at this year. And the playwright that is coming on Wednesday, he wrote 6 plays last year and 3 this year. And those were all performed at my other friend's play stage, I guess. And yeah, he owns Studio Stage Theaters, him and his wife. And I think I'm going to try to get him on next week. That one's not confirmed yet, so don't hold me to it. But he is a SAG member himself. He's on the picket lines. And yeah, I think that'll be an interesting insight to actually have a SAG person who is one of the regular Joes, one of the people that is picketing on not necessarily a daily basis, but going with the organized pickets, and has his finger on the pulse in a couple different ways. What time on Wednesday? I think I'm going to make sure I get it out by 10:30. So we're going to begin by 10:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, so 1:30 your time, I believe. And yeah, I don't know how long we'll be able to keep them. I told him till noonish, and of course we tend to go a little past noon sometimes, and that's all right, of course. But I don't know how long he'll stay. Oh, what did David say down here real quick? But yeah, 10:30 Pacific Standard Time this Wednesday, I think 19th, the 19th. But David, you could do which characters each of you would be from Futurama. I know Matt would be Dr. Zoidberg. And Jay would be Professor Farnsworth. I don't know. Yes, I don't know what to say to that necessarily, but yes, I love that idea already. Matt as Zoidberg would be great. Just shut up, Matt. But oh, those go together too damn well. But Professor Farnsworth as Jay, or Jay as Farnsworth, that would be funny. I kind of want to get some. I want to get some Photoshop going, because that'd be great. That'd be great. Yeah, I don't know. You're making me think now. Would I be Fry or would I be Bender? Because I can be crass like Bender, but I'm also kind of happy-go-lucky in a way like Fry. But I'm also very pragmatic. Would I be Leela? Do I have one big old eye right here? Does that work? Or really, I'd be Nibbler. I like me some Nibbler. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Who gets to be who would Stormy be? Because I feel like Stormy almost fits Farnsworth too well. I mean, Jay's a great Farnsworth, but I think Stormy might be a better Farnsworth in some ways. But Stormy's also like he's a rabble rouser. He likes to raise up a little hell every now and then. No, you're Fry. I would be Hermes. David, you'd be a great Hermes. You'd be a great Hermes, my friend. The keyboard warrior comment comes back to mind. But Hermes is a great warrior at all places, but he's also great with it. I'm Bender. I live a lot across the line of decency. I could see. Or Scruffy. I love Scruffy too. Yeah, I'm gonna have to think about that because I actually really like that idea. Yeah, I don't know exactly who I'd be, and I'm trying to picture who would be better as Farnsworth, Stormy or Jay, because both have their advantages to being Farnsworth. I actually no, that was not. I was gonna say Stormy's Amy because he can be a little funny and out there, you know. But I don't know if that's truly the right thing to compare him to. I don't think he's Amy. Zap Brannigan. Could I be Zap Brannigan? I like Niffler better. I said Nibbler. I'm Niffler. There we go. Niffler. If I can remember the own characters' names. Also, Robot Devil is pretty cool. Pretty funny. I don't know. Just now, I'm just thinking about Futurama. I love that show. I'm so excited for it. I think that's actually a great video idea. I'm gonna write that down while we're all here, and we can all hold me accountable for these things. Hold up, I got my Post-it notes right here. I'm not even doing a Post-it note. I'm gonna do note card. Here we are. Oh, I dropped the note card. I've lost my pen. I have not lost my pen. I have found my pen. Would Stormy be Farnsworth arch enemy? Can't remember his name, or Jay and Stormy could swap. I don't remember his name either, but he is really funny. That'd be funny. God, now I'm just thinking now. Okay. Futurama. Oh, my pen's almost going out of ink. There we go. It came back. It got new life. Futurama versus Sci Trek. That's what I'm gonna call it. Make video. All right, Futurama versus Sci Trek. Make video. I've given myself a duty, a task, and one that shall be completed. And if it's coming out the 24th, I'm going to try to get that out the 20th or 21st. I'm going to tell Jay to try to get it out then. I'm going to maybe I'll make the video by tomorrow, tell him to bring it out, or maybe the next day, either that, Tuesday or Wednesday, have it out by the 21st. And then I'm going to try, or actually, the 21st, because the 24th, the 24th is going to be Monday. That's great. Mondays are going to be Futurama days. I'll put another video out by the 24th if we can find a good topic to cover, because I don't want to just make Futurama stuff just for the sake of it. And it might be fun to go over each episode, but I would like to cover it, not necessarily episode by episode basis. I'm not trying to give you all the breakdowns and all that kind of stuff. I love that kind of stuff, but it ain't for me. I know better people do a better job at it. So I'll give you the thoughts and different things, of course. But what would be a fun video to make just about Futurama stuff? I think that'd be a great intro to just making stuff. Ogden Wernstrom. There we go. Ogden. I think Stormy would like to be Ogden Wernstrom just for the name. I mean, let's be honest. He'd see that and be like, "Yes, Ogden," or something like that. I don't know. It'd be entertaining. I'm leaning towards that. Jacoby Farnsworth, Stormy Ogden. I like it. Matt as Zoidberg. Because I kind of want to find a way to because I'm not good at editing and putting pictures together and yada yada and doing all that kind of stuff. But I could plug a picture of Matt into AI and plug a picture of Zoidberg into AI and have the AI put them together and so on and so forth for other characters. Bad idea? Good idea? Should I run it by them first? Or should I just surprise them with that? I don't know, but it makes me chuckle. Fucking A. Aaron, I didn't even see this. I hope you're still here. You available right now? Because if you're available right now, I might end this. Should we end it on a smoke stream? Posiblemente, huh? Yeah. I don't know. What are y'all feeling? Shall we end it on a smoke stream and talk a little Futurama? No, just do it. That's kind of what I was thinking. I think just really fuck with them and just say, all right, we are Futurama now. You didn't think Futurama was the best sci-fi show? It is now because we are Futurama and really force their hands with it. Actually, are we doing a smoke stream? Yay, nay? Maybe? Y'all let me know. Shall we smoke? Shall we toke and talk? Shall we toke and talk? Talking tokes. Tokes and talking. I could come up with segment names for so many different things way too quickly, and then it makes me want to do a bunch of different things, and then I burn myself out a little bit. But we ain't gonna do that. I just like to come up with segment names. Someone should hire me. I'm better than AI. I'm faster than it. Just because my brain works too damn fast and I'm too damn ADD, it just pops in and out, you know. Up to me. Well, it's always technically up to me. I'm thinking about y'all's preference, you know. It was really funny. I was running by after a sidetrack this past yesterday. I was running by Jay and Stormy. I was like, well, would y'all be okay with me bringing somebody on Wednesday and stuff? And Jamie was just like, it's your show. Like, you can bring anybody on. Kick us off if you want to and bring somebody else. And I was just like, well, you know what I mean. I'm trying to ask for y'all's opinions and stuff, you know? And he was like, well, of course. Like, bring somebody on and that'd be really insightful and stuff to talk to. And it was really funny. He was talking about, I think, another HR, PR kind of thing. We're kind of shooting ideas off each other kind of thing. And, he eventually asked, well, would that be a good thing to do? And I said, it's come full circle. It's your channel, Jamie. Make the decisions you want to make. And, we chuckled about that. So now I'm going to have to really fuck with him and turn everybody into Futurama. So I'm excited. But that up to you thing, that made me think of that. That made me think of that. Because, sure, that's what I'm looking for. I'm okay with not token, you know? We don't have to end it with a toke, but it's always fun. I enjoy quite legitimately breaking down the barriers with y'all because, there is no barrier once I'm baked. I'm just kind of there, either half nonsensical and making fun of myself, or more sensical than I probably should be, and not really paying attention to much of what's actually going on. But yes. Also, this coconut water, I am a fan. I am a fan of coconut water. And usually not much coconut water outside of I was going to say outside of Costa Rica, but I like all coconut water. The best coconut water I've ever had was when I went to Costa Rica for the first time last year. Only time. I'm hoping it's not the only time. I want to go back because it wasn't all that expensive in the grand scheme of things, and it wasn't a far trip. And literally, that was easier. That airport trip was easier to go to than to go to Houston. That was legitimately so easy to go in and out of the country. It wasn't even funny. But Jay's backing the actors, so that's 3 guests on one side, but don't know about Matt opinion yet. 3 guests on one side. You don't know my side. I just want to be hired by people in the future, so I'm cautious. That's all. But don't repeat that one. Just kidding. But I feel like I don't necessarily have a side. Just like in politics, I ain't right, I ain't left. I fit both bills in some ways, and I fit neither bills in many ways. So I'm trying to stay objective with it, and that will be my goal, is to be as objective as possible. But yeah, we'll see how the chat goes. I think it's gonna be a good one. I am going to grab a little token smoking stuff. Should we do a dab or should I smoke a joint? Not you, your friends. Well, it's just one guest, so it's not his wife. It's just him. I'm just giving you that just because that whole household is very insightful and inclinated within the film world, and it is very fun and interesting to get their views on things a lot of the times. Helps me put my finger on the pulse of what's actually going on within the inner workings of this world, this Holly world, as they say sometimes. But yeah, I think it'll be interesting. He actually just texted me. Oh, that's really funny. He said Grievous is scary. Well, we might talk a little Clone Wars too, because he's been watching Clone Wars a lot recently. So I keep getting funny texts and like, this is a lot more intense than I thought it would be. Or I really like this Jedi. I don't really like this Jedi. Or this bounty hunter is really cool. So if you want to ask Clone Wars questions, the guy's going through Clone Wars. I think he's in season 2 right now. It might be a fun little topic for him to go at, you know? I think we're down to, it might just be you and I, David, or me and you and I, Laura, one of the two. Do y'all have a preference on dab or joint? Joint or dab? I've got Jeters, which is like a Moon Rocks kind of joint. It's like a little half-gram joint, or I have a dab, and I can always take a dab. Thankfully, y'all know what that is now. And it doesn't look so much like some crackheadery because it looks pretty intense. But of course, it's just good, simple ganja, the herb, as they say. So is it just me, or who will have to text in defending the studios? I will try to, I guess, devil's advocate a little bit in that sense. But if you wouldn't mind helping me a little bit, that might be nice. Just because I don't want to be too overhanded and because they'll literally blacklist me where I could never get a job or join one of these places if I start devil's advocating, which sucks. It legitimately sucks. That's one of the things the unions I hesitate to even say here, but unions keep people from getting jobs just as much as they give people jobs, and it's scary. It's scary. And wanting to work more in this industry, it's something you do have to be cautious about. And I'm a small fish. I'm a small fry, and nothing big or crazy about me just yet, hopefully. But yeah, they could literally halt my career before it even starts, just for devil's advocating too hard for the studios. So it'd be nice because I'm going to be objective and I'm going to try to bring like just the most generic kind of points to the board and have people discuss it and hopefully get them to both do both sides. Moon rocks, if that's what you call it, it will get you spaced. Correct. Yes. Yes. Yeah. So I am going to try to devil's advocate, just going tonally into completely SAG and WGA. Like oh God, I almost said a couple different bad phrases. I'm not gonna be completely on one side of the court. I don't know how to say hyperboles without making them dirty sometimes. Oops. Joint, moon rocks, perfect. Okay, we got double joints and protect your job. Or it's not even my job right now because I can do this all day. And if I start poo-pooing unions or something like that, then you don't ever get the chance or opportunity to even join them ever. And to work in this industry, that's something that I'd like to do. This is something I've my entire life has been kind of angling towards, and I'm in the industry to a very small degree, but don't do anything to endanger your future plans with the strike. Yeah, that's my only hesitancy with the devil's advocacy aspect of it. But I will be as objective as I can be, and if they're going heavy-handed, that's the easy way to say it instead of one of my dirty hyperboles. If we're going a little heavy-handed, WGA or SAG-AFTRA, I'll try to dial it back and be like, so what about this? Or what about this? And be as objective as possible with it, because that is the plan. But I shall go grab a joint right quick. I'm going to do this little countdown. Actually, let's just do the Movie Monday and main intro again real quick. Movie News Monday, of course. Oh, that was not. I just did the main intro. This is the one I meant to. I like them. Apparently, thankfully, after this stream, I can take it off the intro music. Apparently, the music is copyrighted, even though it was labeled as non-copyright. So I found a really cool little Western soundtrack thing yesterday. There was like an hour of different like segmented songs, and we might put a little more Western theme music on there. That is supposedly 100% non-copyright. We'll find out sooner than later if it actually is or not, of course. But I think we'll be in the clear there. Yeah, let's light this joint up. This is a Baby Jeter from the company Jeters, and it's I think we've smoked shooters before. Shooters and Jeters are very similar. They're both quote unquote moon rocks in the way we old stoners tend to think of it. It is a joint that is the herb in the middle, the weed, the cannabis, the marijuana, the ganja, all the above in the middle. And then you coat that entire layer of the joint after you roll the joint in wax and oil and your dab, and then you sprinkle your keef, which is like hash. It's your little individual piece of the hash, really, on top of everything, which gets you a beautiful little furry joint like that. And that's where you usually would just be smoking the bud, smoking the dab, or smoking the hash. You got a trifecta, which, as Dave said just a minute ago, it gets you spaced. Because that's always the goal. Not truly the goal. The goal is not to get high. I don't like all that, but I like to get high in the sense that, like, this is my ADD medicine. Y'all see how ADD I am on a daily basis. This shit calms the brain down. And I might be pretty stoned for the first 20, 30 minutes afterwards, but 45 minutes, an hour after that, or 20, 30 minutes after that, 45 minutes after smoking, woo, I'm at full function. Anyway, light the hemp wick, spin that puppy around a couple times. Perfect. Yep, lit all around. Exactly what we want. Sweet. We're going to grab a European ashtray. Because those are more fun. More fun in general. This is a baby Jeter, though. And this baby Jeter is an orange daiquiri baby Jeter. It was actually given to me. I didn't have to buy this little pack, which was nice. One of my friends was over this past week, and she was saying, "You smoke me out so much, I'm just leaving these damn joints with you." And I was like, Don't do that. Take your joints. You bought that shit. Take your weed. Do it. Take it. I don't want it. And then she just left it. And then she texted me, said, "You better smoke it." So, aye, Captain. That was funny. That kind of cracked me up. That made me chuckle. Oops. But yeah. If ganja's left in my house and I'm told to smoke it, smoke it I shall. But yeah, any other thoughts? This thing probably lasts 5 to 8 minutes, somewhere in that kind of timeline. So that's about the time we got left. Any thoughts? Any statements? Y'all watching anything fun right now that we haven't talked about yet? Or that we may have talked about and you want to delve a little further into? What are you thinking? What are you thinking before we get on out of here? Because now we're just hanging. Now we're toking and talking. I like to talk. Toke talks. That could be a little segment. So far, Smoke Streams, Toke Talks, Saturday Jays. I like them all. Saturday Jays, I like the sound of, but it does sound too much like Jay, of course, from Sci-Trek, so we don't want to correlate and do all that. So Toke Talks, Smoke Streams, I've got a couple other little ideas, but I think those are my two favorites so far, honestly. I like Smoke Streams. Obviously, those are what we're going to call them, but a little Toke Talk at the end of a normal stream, that might be fun. That might be a good little segment to begin. Yeah. But shoot. What are y'all thinking? What are y'all doing? Is it on the film front, do you know anything about the Creator film? Do I know anything about the Creator film? Do I know anything? No, I absolutely know very little about it. But the little bit that I do know about it, I'm fucking ecstatic for. Excuse my French. But No, I'm really excited for it and from it. Anything about it. Gareth Edwards, I think, is a great filmmaker. I really do kind of wish we got to see his version of Rogue One, but I love what we got for Rogue One. And obviously, a lot of that was him, but a lot of that was also Tony Gilroy, who, of course, is also excellent and is the creator of Andor. But I am really excited to see Gareth Edwards almost take the Snyder approach with Rebel Moon and go into making the creator and creating his own sci-fi world. I'm pumped because I think the creator will be much more sci-fi oriented than Star Wars. It won't be so space opera, space fantasy like. But I think Rebel Moon will be more sci-fi oriented than Star Wars, to a degree, of course, besides like midichlorians and the actual like sciencey aspects of Star Wars. But I think Rebel Moon will be more science oriented, not necessarily science fiction, but I still think it will be in that space opera category if I had to guess. I think space fantasy and space opera will still be like where Rebel Moon will lie at the end of the day and lay at the end of the day. But I would think it's more sci-fi oriented than Star Wars is. Where the creator, it looks like very good sci-fi. I'm really excited for it. It's actually for what's left of the year, off the top of my head, I'm thinking either the creator or Dune Part 2 are the things that I'm looking forward to the most. Off the top of my head, I can't think of anything besides that's that good. Like Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, I'm intrigued by. Killers of the Flower Moon, I'm intrigued by. I feel like there's a couple other things in November and December that I'm pretty intrigued by, but Dune Part 2 and the creator. I'm really excited for Strays. That's coming out very soon. But that's different. I'm excited for it, and in a comedy sense, we're like, yeah, I'm pumped. Like I'm gonna laugh my ass off. But it's not. I'm not like. I'm looking forward to it, but I'm not like truly like looking forward to it. Where I am with the creator and Dune. Yeah, I don't know if anything squarely fits in that category that same way. Yeah, I don't know. I really don't think so. You're door dashing? Aye. Let me fuck with some of your DoorDash customers. I'm kidding. That'd be so bad. Oh, wait, DoorDash customers, my high ass. I'm thinking of Uber. Fuck with DoorDash customers would be funny too. Open their food and there's like a phone and you're like, "Welcome to YouTube" or something. Like, this is not what you bargained for. Surprise. But that's a good way to get your phone stolen. So, negatory, Ghost Rider. But live streaming while Ubering would be pretty fucking entertaining. That'd be pretty fucking entertaining. You could make a show out of that. You could so make a show out of that. Y'all remember that show? What was it, like Party Taxi? Something like that. I tried to speak and inhale at the same time, and that did not work. It wasn't Party Taxi. It was like Quiz Cab or something like that. I think it was a Quiz Cab, Cash Cab, something like that. They people could win money by answering questions in the cab on an Uber, not an Uber. And I'm thinking about how it could work with Uber, and it might not work because it's Uber and not a whatchamacallit. I need a new phone holder first. Hey, that actually would be Cash Cab. Okay. Fourth time's a charm, fifth time's a charm, whatever it was. Great show. Cash Cab. Great show. Ooh, tickle my throat real quick. Lordy. But you're not baked until you actually cough. That's how you actually know. If you're not coughing, it's not working. And don't let anybody ever tell you otherwise, you know? That's my advice for the day. But how would a cash Uber work? I don't think it would work because you have to go through the app and stuff, right? Like, I would it work? What? Only reality show I have watched. Yeah, honestly. Yeah. I used to watch that all the time when I was a kid. That and like America's Funniest Videos. Besides that, I couldn't. I maybe some Duck Dynasty, but I didn't watch it all the time. They were just. I'm 20 minutes from Louisiana, where I'm raised, or where I'm from. So the Louisiana stuff was always funny like that. This Duck Dynasty folk were very funny early on. But yeah, I haven't even watched any of that in a long time, so I have no idea. That's probably the only show I've that or some little nature stuff. Just realities, reality shows aren't that big for me either. They're not my thing. But The Golden Bachelor will bring everybody in. When Ben Stein's Money was a fun show. When Ben Stein's Money was a fun show. I don't know that. Shall I Google? When Ben Stein's Money. Should I share the Google? Share. Yep. Oh, I don't think I pressed the right button. Oh, I did press the right button. Hell yeah. All right, here we go. This Jeopardy-like game show features Ben Stein as both a host and a contestant. During the second and third rounds of the game, Stein joins the game as a contestant as he tries to defend his money against the contestants by answering trivia questions. What? What? His voice, he kills me. Jimmy Kimmel 20 years ago. What? That looks pretty interesting. Is it streaming anywhere? That's the most millennial and kind of thing I think I might have ever said. They're not you millennial, Gen, whatever the hell I am. Is it streaming somewhere? But is it? Because that's pretty cool. Actually, that looks really funny. Yeah, I don't know if I watch any reality shows or have watched any reality shows lately. I can't think of anything. I guess does cooking stuff count? Because I watched the chef show, like Grill Master or Barbecue Master or something like that on Netflix. Chef show I fucking love. Jon Favreau and Chef Roy Choi, who's awesome. They're both great together, and I love that show. But Chef Roy Choi helped Jon Favreau learn how to cook as well as he has, and of course still teaches him on the show and stuff, which is great. But it helped Jon Favreau make my absolute favorite chef movie, and I still think the best probably chef movie ever made is Chef with Jon Favreau, John Leguizamo, Robert Downey Jr. is in it, Scarlett Johansson's in it, Eva Longoria is in it. More people are in it. It's great. It's great. It's my absolute favorite chef movie, and the menu's probably up there. I mean, Ratatouille's up there too. Honestly, it's about a rat making ratatouille, but it's up there. It's good. It's good. What's the one with Bradley Cooper? Is it Burn? Is that it? I don't know if I've ever watched that all the way through, but I do like Burn. From what I have seen, I expect it to be good. But I don't know where I'd put it because I haven't really seen it all the way through. But yeah, I watch a ton of Food Network competitions. I don't watch like a whole bunch, but Netflix has a few that I do like. I watch the weed ones too. I like the weed where they bring it into like just infused foods. Like they do some cannabis food, some CBD food, and then sometimes they'll do like certain part THC, certain part CBD. It's interesting. I like the way they do it. But I think there's two, maybe 3 shows that I watch like that. And then there's 2 or 3 barbecue ones too, and hot ones, hot, yeah. But that's YouTube. I guess with YouTube I watch all kinds of shit. I guess that's all not reality based necessarily, but some of it. Hot ones I watch near religiously, not every episode. I haven't watched the most couple recent ones. They've just kind of had a couple like semi big guests on, I guess. Just ones that are not like 100% recognizable, but they're like it's not what I'm looking for, I guess. You know, they're not the guests that I watch, which I don't know. One was like a British comedian who's you know funny, but I don't follow, and I just don't follow the other 2, I guess. You know, there's just episodes you skip. But usually I watch it all the fucking time. I love that show. I just wanted to get some interesting guests on again. Is what I was getting at. My stoned ass just couldn't think of what I was trying to say. But yeah, I love hot ones. I don't know who's your favorite Hot Ones episode, because there have been some really good ones. Josh Brolin, Paul Rudd come to mind. I really like Jennifer Lawrence's one that she just did. I'm trying to think. Jenna Ortega had a good one just because she just took it like a boss. Forgot to mention I also watched Naked and Afraid and Alone and some Bear Grylls stuff. Hey, a little Bear Grylls is always it's enjoyable. That and Survivor and stuff like that. But Naked and Afraid is great too. I don't tune in all the time, but I used to watch it every now and then, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. I don't know what Alone is though. Is Alone like camping or something? Kind of similar. I don't know. Hot Ones. Brain pain. Who's your favorite guest? I'm trying to think. Those are just a bunch that come to mind. Some of them more recent. I don't know. Josh Brolin's is popping up into my mind. I don't know if that's actually my favorite or not, but that's the one that's I think was just like all around just enjoyable, funny, but good. Oh, John Bernthal I think had a good one, right? Didn't he go on there? Or am I crazy? Maybe I'm thinking of a whole different interview. I'm second guessing myself. Reality shows are what they brought on during the last writer strike. Can't believe people still watch them. Exactly, I'm with you. Like, I can't even process a third of them. Normally. Now I'm baked. I can't process a quarter of them. I could smoke a quarter, though. That doesn't sound bad. That sounds nice. My favorite Hot Ones guest. I don't know. Selena Gomez had a good, or am I thinking? I don't know. I'm trying to think. What should we search? Popular Hot Ones guests, or best Hot Ones guests. Make it really subjective and screw up Google. Oh, best hot guest. Nope, that's not best Hot Ones guests. Share this tab. All right. What comes up if you do images? Oh, Elizabeth Olsen had a good one. Aubrey Plaza had a good one. Paul Rudd's I really like too. ScarJo had a good one. He had a good one. See, all those are good. All those are good. I don't know if I've seen the Charlie Day one. You know, Gordon Ramsay was good. I'd probably say Paul. I'm kind of thinking Paul Rudd. I'm I'm kind of leaning towards Paul Rudd. Kevin Hart. Kevin Hart was a good one. Okay, that's yours. Thanos defeated by Carolina Reaper chips. Aye. Hard to pick favorite. Yep. It's amazing what those chefs can do on a time limit. Yep. That it is insane. Rudd. I think Rudd's my favorite. I think I'd have to go with Rudd. Rudd's really just funny as hell, and he's timeless in a lot of ways. You know, he's just solid. You know, but camping by yourself against 10 other people in some dodgy area filled with bears and wolves. Last one left wins $500,000. Matt Damon was a good one too. He had a really good interview. I liked it. I like a lot of the ones just for like the real ass interviews too, you know, because he is legitimately a really good interviewer. And it's great to get him answering honestly and as great as they tend to. Because damn, you know your defenses are down with a fucking chicken wing that hot. Pardon me. But camping by yourself against 10 other people in some dodgy area filled with bears and wolves. Last one left wins $500. $500,000. Damn. What are the rules? Can you bring like one pack or something like that with you, or no pack at all? Do you have to go find a pack? Because that's actually pretty cool. I'd do it if you could bring your own pack and could specialize some shit or something like that. You know those little tents that you can canopy up and stuff? I'd bring that if I could bring something. But I don't know if you can. Yeah. That's cool. I like it. There's some really cool reality things. I don't know if any of them are really worth tuning in every week. Oh, you know, my family we'd always tune into The Voice for the first like 3 or 4 seasons when it came out and premiered. It kind of lost a little touch after a little bit I thought. So, you know, we kind of left it by the wayside. But I don't think I've watched that many besides here and there, you know. Reality shows. What you gonna do with them? Make more because now there's a writer's strike, right? And an actor strike. We are in for a doozy. You can only toke 10. Oh, you can only toke. You can only take 10 items with you, but anything you find, you can keep. Oh, so do they have like some cool stuff around everything? Can you go find like an axe and a hatchet or a shovel or a bow and arrow or something? Is that one of the rules, maybe? Or is it just kind of like ropes, food items, maybe MREs? I don't know. That sounds cool. Well, look, why don't I Google the damn thing? Alone. Um, Reality show. Um, Brave participants are forced to use Is there a trailer? Okay, I'm gonna mute it. I'm gonna turn the subtitles on and mute it because it just brought us to the IMDb. Oh look! This will be our sneaky way of doing this. Hopefully, the predators are vicious. Humans cannot survive. But this winter, 10 souls will dare to try. Oh, I need the captions. In total isolation. No camera crews. Oh shit, no contact. So no help. You have to film yourself, everything? So how much of what you have in weight is batteries? Ooh. Interesting. That's kind of fun. That'd be worth watching. No, just what you can scavenge. Got to catch your own food. You'd have to be desperate to eat MREs. At least I would. Well, yeah, nowadays, that's for damn sure. Back in the day, like when I was just a young whippersnapper in the old scouting stuff, you'd eat them every now and then, but just what you can scavenge, got to catch your own food. That I like. That's cool. So some of the items you're bringing are definitely for hunting, trapping, fishing per se. That's interesting. I like it. Is it just playing stuff? Should we turn that off? Should I press this? What is it? There we go. I might finally get the video after playing it for like 4 minutes in a row or something. Oops. No, you didn't do that. But at least it was muted, so hopefully that'll keep any copyright from happening. Fingers crossed, y'all. Knocking on wood. All the above. Drinking more cocoa nut water. But I do have water. I usually have a mug with me, but I used to always have a giant ass water bottle, and I only have like half-gallon water bottles now, and I'm very happy that I found another 1 gallon water bottle. I've already decorated it with beautiful stickers all over. It is go time. Very excited to have a giant ass water bottle to swing around. Because my rule is, if your water bottle cannot also be a weapon, why use it, you know? It needs to be a weapon. We need more Predator movies like Prey, Predator in feudal Japan, ancient Greece, Rome, Dark Ages. Damn right. That'd be awesome. I'd really like that. I want to kind of. I'd like them to. I'm trying to think of his name. The director. It's on the tip of my damn tongue. Anyway, I'd like for him to finish his little. I think he's trying to do a trilogy, right? Because he's already got a sequel confirmed, I believe. So I'd like him to do that and maybe finish this trilogy. But I'd like other directors to come in and do like a feudal Japan, ancient Greece, Rome, Dark Ages, somewhere in like ancient Persia or something, or Maori or something. It could be all kinds of different things. It'd be fun. But I'd kind of maybe let other directors do that because he's doing his trilogy. But that might be too fast, and yeah, let it kind of like sit for a little bit and let him do his thing. Why can't I think of his name? Anyway, I'm totally down for more Predator. I have seen a few articles where they've said Alien is going to be like much more pressurized because of how well Prey did, and I hope it does feel the pressure because I hope that really motivates ancient Mongolia would be badass. But I hope Alien does feel the pressure, just so I think Fede Alvarez, who I truly trust, will just be more inclined to make a great show. Really take their time with it and do well with it. I think he's a really good filmmaker, and I like everything he's done so far. So fingers crossed. I got faith. And who's directing the next movie? There's another movie too, I think. I can't think of who's directing that, but I believe there's another movie. I might be wrong on that, but if there is, if it's Ridley Scott or if it's somebody else, which I think it is somebody else, same goes for them. I hope a little more light some fire into their feet, and make a good movie. Like to find out how they got that 1970 pistol back after giving it to the last in Predator. That's a good point. I think they'll probably go over that, don't you think? I would believe so. Possiblemente, yeah. Yeah, I think so. I got it. I'm gonna Google it. That's gonna kill me. Prey movie directed by Dan Trachtenberg. Damn it! I knew that. I knew it was that. I didn't have that on my tongue at all, but I was trying. I know the name at least. But damn. He did excellent. So I really hope, that his second movie lives up to the hype, because the hype is there. The hype is there. I got faith though. I believe he's directing something else too. Let me go back to that tab real quick, because I'm pretty sure he's directing something else, or is about to. Let me see. Oh, that's right. He's gonna at least direct one episode of Stranger Things, season 5. So yeah, that's nice. Hell yeah, I like it. That's cool. All right, but I'm out of here, y'all. Thank y'all for hanging with me. I appreciate it. Tomorrow, Movie Tuesday, we're gonna talk about the movies of this past weekend, of course, which were very few, of course, but some nonetheless. I might talk more about series tomorrow a little bit too, because What We Do in the Shadows came back very strong. We have Foundation, which I need to watch still, and I hear it came back very strong. We also have the series finale and season finale of Mayans this Thursday, which I'm very sad about, David. I thought that there was only a 9-episode season, this one, but it's actually a 4-episode season. 10-episode season, excuse me. And I'm terrified for what's about to happen, because this last episode was not peaceful and peaceful at the same time. More peaceful than expected, but not very peaceful at the same time, as things tend to go. And that's all I'll tell you, because no spoilers. I got you. Yeah, I'm out of here. Thank y'all for hanging. Like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, all that good stuff. Y'all know the spiel. Appreciate it. Have a great one. And come back to MCubed for more movie loving goodness. Let me leave you with